Do you have an idea or like a way you want to do this, Andrew?
Yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt. Yeet,
No,
yeet,
absolutely
skirt.
not. Welcome back to the My Mom Has Tourette's podcast. This week, one of our mothers jumped out of a moving vehicle while being kidnapped. But just in case that wasn't interesting enough, I'm Andrew.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Andrew. So this week we're going to talk about a couple things. Overarching theme, we're going with the game we played, which was Escape from Tarkov. We all got to play a little bit of it, some of us for the first time, some of us for the past few years. But all in all, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to kind of catch up to and everything. We're pointing down. Now we're pointing up. But so that's how it's going to go. So what's going on, gentlemen? How was your week?
Good. How was yours?
Good. How was yours?
I'm still alive, so good. Good. How was yours?
Good. How was yours?
Nathan, you were a little busy this week, and what'd you do?
I worked, and then, I mean, apart from that, I'm currently working on getting a job in programming field. So that's
Nice.
that's been a little bit of extra work as well. But work's just been busy. So,
speaking of, did the lead that was potentially sent your way pan out at all?
she never responded.
I'm gonna message her right now. She's a bum. I was talking to her today.
You're doing a podcast. Shush.
Yeah.
Right. We'll talk about it. We'll if you want. If you want to though, like we'd talk about that later. I mean, I guess the podcast is for talking, but like if you want to like reach out to her later or something, I'm sure she just got busy. It's only been a couple days. Sometimes that happens. I'm not worried about it though. But apart from that, I visited.
Hold on 1 second. You'll have to cut this. I'll be right back. Someone's knocking at my door. Hold on.
Oh.
Maybe it's the person that
people are already swatting us and we're not even live.
Maybe it's the person who you're talking about.
Oh gosh. I hope we're not making jokes and Andrew's about to get gimped.
Well, catch me if you can.
Andrew, you good, bud?
I haven't heard them shout police.
Police! Sorry. Oh, he came. Either he came back or somebody else did. So I guess we'll find out in a second here.
Okay, so we shouldn't cut that out, but we'll skip over part of it. So, a bird ran into my door. So right above my door, to like the slight left of it, there's a window. And there's a slight windowsill at the top, and these birds have been trying to build a freaking nest for like months, and I keep knocking it down. And apparently it's too dark out for this bird to see, and he just smacked right into my freaking
Was
door.
He like laying on the ground dazed?
Oh yeah, he was like, meh, meh, meh. And I just walked over, and he got really scared, and he went, and then flew away. So,
dude, at my house, for about a month now, every morning for like 5 hours, there's a bird that sits on the chair right outside the front window, and it jumps off the chair into the window over and over and over again for hours at a time. And then at night, it just goes somewhere else. And then the first thing in the morning, it's back.
That's funny. I like that.
That's something. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Other than that, Friday night after I got off work, went and visited me wife's family's house, and her sister graduated recently, and so we just kind of were hanging out with them and had a little party, and I'm back finally, and we're recording this late on Sunday, but now better than any time, or now better than never. So yeah,
words.
How far was that?
3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, we're down in Georgia now, and they're up in Tennessee, and my family's up in. Yeah, it's a mess. Up in,
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? What'd you do this weekend?
Nothing. I worked Saturday. I was exhausted.
You worked Saturday. I thought you were off Saturdays.
No, I worked a little bit. Went in and worked with my dad.
Hmm.
I worked 13 hours Friday, came home, slept 2.5 hours, and then I worked another 6 hours, and then I sat in the chair and tried to stay awake for the rest of the day.
It's rough.
So that was my weekend.
I went and visited a friend, picked him up. He's hanging out at my house for a bit. And today I woke up to get ready for church, and it was about 9:30 when I sat back down on my bed, fully clothed, after I was showered and just passed back out. So I did not attend church like I wanted to today. Uh, but after that, I just got up, uh, made some lunch, dinner. I didn't eat till like 3, so whatever that would be considered. And yeah, that was pretty much what I did. Went to Walmart, got some paper plates and stuff.
That
Nothing crazy.
Bro, the
always
Walmart
feels
out
bad,
here is
huh?
crazy.
It is.
It
The
is.
one,
Which one isn't?
the one that we normally go to. Wait, no,
No.
the Walmart for you. You're not living there anymore, right?
Yes, it's nuts. You can park there and you can just spend all day and just watch the different crazy people that just walk inside.
That is so spot on for you. It's not even funny.
Oh man,
Walmart's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
People,
I feel like you
anyway.
usually
Yeah.
pretty have a good idea what you're gonna get.
Not Josh. He
Joel-
just goes in with a blindfold and just picks out his groceries.
Joel
I'm
Ooh,
used to
got
say
some
if you
kiwi today.
Joel used to say if he was ever murdered at Shop and Save, don't get revenge on him because he was making fun of people.
It's so true. So true. We went to see a comedian in Pittsburgh the year before he got married. Dude, this man, for being as physically disabled as he is, he talks so much smack on strangers in a car, thinking they won't just yank him out. It's impressive.
He's so funny.
Andrew, you remember that when we went and saw what's her name? The two dudes. We got close row tickets in
You said,
Pittsburgh.
what's her name? Two dudes?
His name,
Oh.
not her name.
Oh yeah.
Their name,
It was part of the Wild 'N Out crew. It was Chico Bean and
Carlos Miller.
Carlos, yeah.
Yeah, Nathan. They picked on me and Andrew the entire show.
We were apparently a gay couple. It was great.
Yes. They were like, they made fun of me wearing shorts in negative degree weather. So they're like, this man doesn't care about his life because he's wearing shorts and it's freezing. He'll protect anybody. So they're like, we're going to hire him as a bodyguard now. And then they're like talking about Andrew and they're like, what are you going to do? Fight him with your, hey.
It was like rainbow powers. Wow. Why don't we let Josh take the lead now, considering this is kind of his area of expertise that we're segueing very naturally into?
Well, we decided to play Escape from Tarkov for our first game. So I know Andrew didn't play until today with me, his first raid, which went crazy. And then Nathan, did. Don't let Andrew say no, because if you played the game long enough, Andrew's first raid was absolutely crazy. But Nathan played for an hour and a half by himself and won't tell any of us how it went. So I figured we should hear about Nathan's experience and then we'll talk about what happened today.
Did you guys get to play together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
He
I was gonna
downloaded it
say
and
you
then-
guys are just talking about it, keeping me out of it, huh? What is there to hide? But
Listen, I asked you and you said, I'm not telling you until
Yeah.
Sunday.
exactly. We wait for the podcast and then it's fresh. And then nobody knows. This is the least beginner friendly game I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you.
I got in there and had no clue what I was doing. And because I went in blind, because I wanted to, I like experiencing games that way, especially if I already know very little about it. I went into the factory. I've only done the factory. I've not touched another map yet because I wanted to just learn one, have an idea what I was doing on one, at least kind of like learn the map. And remember, I don't know anything about it. Whenever I started, a lot of the difficulty levels or whatever said, oh, this one's insane. Oh, this one's impossible. Oh, this one's incredulous. And then like this one said hard. So I clicked on it. So I got in.
That's an absolute lie because Factory is the #1 PvP map in the game.
Nice.
I think I made everything hard on myself then. How am I supposed to know that? Okay. This game feels... I know that there's some greater objective where you're supposed to find an exit. You're supposed to find find something that will help you escape Tarkov, which whenever you're joining a map, you're essentially joining from what I've gathered so far, because I've still not watched anything about it. I've been busy since, and this week I'm going to actually learn a little bit about it before I go back into it. But it felt, because I didn't really know what I was doing, like I just got dropped into a death match where everyone had better gear and higher levels than me, and were just faster than me, stronger than me, constantly yelled out scary things just in the distance.
Tiki Bringy!
I didn't really know what was happening, but I was like, I'm going to sneak around here. I learned that I could go prone, so that was cool, because I kind of hid from some dude at one point. I found a cool point in the factory. You could run up some stairs and run along these beams and then jump across and then run along. And I was like, I couldn't find any... I assume there's a way to get out of the factory, to get to an extraction point, it called it, I think. But I have no clue how. I searched every inch of that place when I wasn't just getting killed from behind. But... this my second game, because I didn't realize I actually had to restock my character every raid. My second game, I spawned in with a knife. I opened a door and a guy shotgunned me immediately.
Wow.
It was immediate.
That happened to Andrew on Interchange, because you got marked and cursed because you didn't bring gear in. So the scavs.
Yeah, let's segue with, he didn't tell me this before we started, that I was just going to have some mark and curse on me.
I don't know what that is. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Me neither. He mentions it to me halfway through the match. He's like, oh, by the way, if you think there's a lot of people, it's because you're marked and cursed. And I was just sitting here just waiting for Josh to move. And I'm like, what does that even mean? And he's like, oh, well, it means, everyone knows where you're at. And I was like, oh, that's
messed
wonderful.
up.
That's a smart play,
Well, we walked in the parking garage of Interchange. Interchange is this gigantic shopping mall. There's a train extraction point here, and there's this gate. It's called Emercom checkpoint. And they've got a bunch of stores, you're walking into a normal shopping mall, and underground is the parking garage. So a lot of the PvP happens upstairs, so we were trying to go under to come up from behind it. And I told Andrew, I said, we're not going to risk a whole lot of gear. We're just going to take a pistol in. That way, if we die and lose, we only lose a pistol, but if we come out, we're going to come out geared. And so we're in there, and all of a sudden we hear, Wanasuka! And then boom, 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 boom. I look at Discord, and Andrew's out I'm and he's bleeding. And I'm like, Andrew, you gotta hide. You gotta hide. I can't find the dude. So I peeked around the pillar, and I shot him. And so, I'm starting to throw all these meds on the ground. I'm like, Andrew, you gotta fix this. You gotta fix this. But at the end of the raid, we came out thick. We had some gear. We had a bunch of loot, sold it.
By we, he means he, because I died.
No, you didn't. Not on that raid. The next one died.
Oh, well, sorry. It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
All right. So by the end of my experience of my hour and a half, 2 hours playing this week, which I'll be doing some more this week, this next week, I had lost all my weapons. I have lost half my gear. I learned you can buy stuff, and there's a bunch of weapons that make no sense to me, and a bunch of ammo that all go to those different weapons that also make no sense to me, so I have to figure out what goes with what. But yeah, I just kept joining, running around. I killed someone once. I want you to be proud of me. I got a kill.
I'm proud.
I didn't do that.
Shot a butt ton of times at a bunch of other people. I shot whole clips right into their butts, and then they shot me once and I was dead, so I guess it didn't really matter in the end. I don't know what I'm doing in that game, and it's kind of hilarious. It's wild to me, because I get what you're saying by it's not like any other game. You straight up you have a hideout that you go to between raids if you want to, and you can build it all up, and it's a separate place, and then you have your own stash, and you enter these raids with your own items that you want, and you choose how much you want to lose, and you can insure them if you want, which I guess is a thing. And then I had trouble figuring out the marketplace, because there was a yard sale or whatever it's called. What's it called, Josh?
Flea market.
Yeah, flea market, same thing.
You can't use it until you're level 15. So when you're using the flea market now, it's only the stuff that you can buy from the traders at your current level.
There are traders. Oh yeah, those guys. They confuse me too. So I was my last raid. I actually just rage quit. I was like, I played this long enough. I was out of it, but yeah, I don't know. It was. I think it's something I can enjoy once I have an idea what I'm doing, but it's confusing as heck.
So here I'm gonna make a couple points, and you didn't want a whole lot of information because you kept saying, "I want to go in blind.
Yeah.
I want to experience."
I did it to
So
myself.
you got that. We got this far. It is the hardest hardcore game I've ever played.
Great.
Nikita, the guy who created the game, doesn't. They're supposed to be doing an introduction or a like a little help guide at the beginning to like help you understand stuff instead of just being thrown into like terrifying wolves with craziness. But it's not in there yet, so you are thrown in with
Great.
wolves. Um, yeah, but there's a lot. The one thing I should tell you is you guys need to play offline mode. That's where you're going to learn a lot of stuff.
That's boring.
Offline mode has the scavs and stuff, but not the PMCs. So you can still practice. You can learn the maps. You can find where the extraction points are. And then when you're ready to go, you can jump back in and play the normal mode. I heard a quote from a streamer the other day for if you play offline mode, play it and ask yourself a bunch of questions or ask anybody a bunch of questions. And once all them questions are answered, then move into your regular online mode and start playing.
Who can I ask questions to if I'm playing offline mode?
Me. Or the Tarkov community on Discord or a forum, anything. But
okay, so another third-party application that I need for this game is what you're saying,
yes,
right?
yes.
How many of those do I need?
17.
Apparently.
Well, at least one. I think you guys should look up the maps.
I'm down with it.
I can find a website for maps and I can link you guys to it. It'll lay the whole map out flat, and then it'll show you where the extraction points are. So then you just hit your O, and then when you see in your game where your extraction points are, you can just look on your map and be like, okay, I'm here. I got to get over there. So, I mean, that was a big help. When I first started playing, probably for a year to 2 years, I used on my second monitor, I had maps up for whatever map I was playing the entire time so I could figure out where I was going, and where I was trying to get. So, I mean, it's go ahead.
So I believe, did you say this game was released, 2016 is when it was officially open, I think?
Around then or a couple years before.
Okay, so 7 years in beta, we still don't have maps in the interface. Got it. Just wanted to make sure basic things like that were covered. But continue.
7 years in beta, and they're never going to add maps because they want it to remain hardcore.
Yeah.
Oh, so like you can't even like pick up a map.
You can, but you can't use it.
What?
Why is it there?
There's actual items called maps, but it's not like you can open it up like a Minecraft map, look down at it, and see your little character where he's heading.
I don't have to know where he's heading, but like, an in-game map that I can see where I'm like see the area would be nice.
Yeah.
Would be like, if he's looking for realistic, yeah, a map of the area seems pretty realistic to me.
Well, the thing is like you have the PMCs who are USEC and bears.
You
Then you
gotta
have
explain that a
scavs.
little bit more because while we have played it now, that makes no sense to other people who might be watching this.
So when you start the game, okay, and you click the big button at the main menu, escape from Tarkov. That's like click and start. You click it, and it'll ask you which character you want to play, the scav or your PMC. When you first get the game, it asks you if you want to be a USEC or a bear. Bears are the Russians. USEC are the English or Americans. They just speak English. USEC are military people who are being brought into Tarkov. There's lore, but they haven't put the lore really in the video game. A lot of the lore is on YouTube. And so the USEC are coming in, and there's something going on. There's a map on the game called Labs, and there's all the lore has to do with labs. Like there's a chemical being created there, or something, stimulants being created for like super soldiers, stuff like that. So you have the American USACs and the Russian Bears. They're both military people that are coming in to take over the territory, figure things out. Then you have Raiders, who are ex PMCs, but those are computer AIs. They're just stronger enemies in the game. You have scav bosses. So almost every map has a scav boss. And they're like the hardcore boss in the game on the scav side. So they're the best way to think about it are people that live in the area, and then whatever happened that caused Tarkov to start going downhill, these characters started popping up and creating power for themselves. So you have the scav bosses, and then they have minions, so like guards who protect them, the raiders, and then scavs are people just like the easiest way to think about it. Scavs are the people who live in the area, and then you're just scavenging, looking for food, looking for armor, looking for weapons, and you're trying to scurry your way back out. So that's the easiest thing. Scavs are like rats where they come in, they hide, they grab stuff, and they leave. And the PMCs are like these mega chads where you run in, you're trying to look for fights, you're trying to get quests done for the traders, and then you're trying to get out.
All right.
So
Explain like I'm 5. What is Tarkov and why are we escaping?
there's not a whole lot of lore for it in the game. So if you only play the game, you have
Another
no idea.
third-party app.
Well, it is a third-party app, but it's ran by the developer themselves on YouTube. So they have their own channel, which is something I want to get into about the event that they have going on. But they're trying. It's still beta, so they don't have the lore in the game. There's supposed to be quests that show the lore, but they're not at that point yet. The lore is supposed to be with the traders and the scav bosses, and how they're all either working together or working to stop each other. And you're trying to do these quests to like figure out what's going on with them, or look for certain intel on different maps, stuff like that.
Okay.
Or you're just trying to help the traders get an objective done so they can help you more.
So my gut reaction is to say, how is this game still in beta 7 years later? My second reaction is to say, Fortnite still calls itself beta. So I don't think beta means much anymore for a live service game.
If you look at Star Citizen, they're still in beta.
Yeah.
They came out in 2012 and they've raised over $500 million.
Dang.
So betas don't really have a timeline.
Yeah, if you just say you're a beta all the time, if you just drop the game, no one can be mad at you. I mean, you could just take everyone's money after 12 years and see you later. Sorry, game sucked. We closed it down.
Heck yeah. I'm a beta male. Give me money.
When they first came out, they had like 12,000 concurrent players. And then 3 years ago, they had a Twitch Drops event, and they went up to like 120,000 concurrent players.
Dang!
And I'm pretty sure it's up near 200,000 right now.
Very nice.
So it's growing. I know a lot of people have had your guys' reaction. Like, they came in like, I don't like this game. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not playing. And eventually they pick up later, and then they understand it more. They figure it out more. They learn their own play style within the game, and they learn to enjoy it. Like, you might go in geared as a PMC, but you don't have to run through the entire map trying to fight. Yeah. You can run the outskirts of it. You can sit in a bush and wait for 30 minutes till there's 10 minutes left, and then go do stuff, because hopefully by then more people have left the map. I mean, so you can play however you want.
Yeah, it's I know for sure the way that I went into the game is not the way that it's currently meant to be played, because there is no intro. There's no like real introduction to how it's supposed to be played. But I know that I ended it getting my last death, losing my last weapon, and I straight up said to myself, I do not like this game.
So. Well, to argue your point though, the game is meant to be played like that. If it wasn't, I would. Now, I'm not trying to say bad things about it or the community, but if roughly 7 years this has been in production, if they wanted to have some sort of tutorial, not even like a tutorial, I jump into my first match or two, the game knows that, it sees I have no playtime. There should be like hints and tips like most places, most games have. You know, even if it's something silly like oh, use WASD to move or C to crouch, pick stuff up. Dude, I shot 3 med kits trying to pick them up because I just looked
At
down and it
first,
said
yeah.
click, and I just clicked it, and I was like, oh, how do I pick stuff up, Josh?
At
I
first,
feel like
I
an
was
idiot.
confused. Yeah, I was confused about that. I shot some things as well, trying to pick them up. But one of the first things I noticed is it felt like the movement in the game felt like the most clunky thing in the world. Like,
Because about a year ago, they
so
just
clunky.
added momentum to the movement.
It's
So
so
you used to be able
clunky.
to you used to be able to just go like this, but then they added momentum to it. So you go like this, then you gotta.
Yeah,
not
it's
like this
probably
back-
good, but
Yeah.
it feels weird. I'll get used to
It's
it, I'm
changed
sure.
gameplay. It has, because like peeking corners used to be like,
Yeah, you don't
peek
just go like,
and done.
yeah.
Yeah, but then now it's
Yeah.
like coming back.
Honestly,
that's
sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're good.
Oh, you're fine. I was just gonna say that's the biggest problem Halo Infinite has at the moment because it's probably the fastest strafing you can do in any Halo game. I've played all the Halo games, and it's like immediate. So that's the biggest way. And crouching is super fast too. So like it's super annoying when you're fighting somebody. They're pretty much going like the whole time because it's meta. You're more likely to like not get hit if you do that. It's so annoying because I love that game and it makes me sad.
Well, I remember back in the old Halos, that was something similar you could do if you were to jump, because they have that like kind of that unique physics jump. You could just crouch in the air, so people are trying to snipe you with headshots, and you're just floating through the air. It was great.
It's great.
No, I know they want to put a tutorial in. It's just not something at the top of their list.
Yeah.
Hasn't been for 7 years. It's impressive.
It is
This
impressive.
game from when I first started is completely different. So, I mean, more and more stuff's coming out. But I understand it's not your guys' type of game.
I've never played anything like it, which you also said there really isn't anything like it, so there's that. But regardless, I think I like games like this. I just have to get used to it, and I'm sure Andrew would feel the same way.
You also picked the worst map.
Yeah, apparently. Apparently. I'm going to try the other maps. I guess I'll go into offline mode, and I'm going to learn, watch some videos on it. I just wanted my first experience to be horrible.
Well, and I'm going to bring up those maps so it shows you guys the extractions and stuff. But, I mean, I would stick to Woods, Interchange, and Customs.
Interesting.
And Shoreline, because Shoreline's a big outside map as well. But you're going to learn, every area has their PvP spots. If you don't want to go near them, then don't. You can avoid them. So
Gotcha.
The game's meant to be played to your style. Slow, methodical, and quiet, or hold W down to your keyboard breaks. But there's a lot. There's a lot. I remember Andrew, the first raid we played was on Woods. There's 4 of us. We walk into this little shack, and I'm telling him to change keybinds and different screen settings. I'm like, oh, Andrew, there's this a screwdriver on the ground. Pick it up, because I don't need it. Just take it as free loot. So I walk out, and the gunshot goes off, and everybody's like, I hear shots. Where is that? Everybody okay? And Andrew's like, I don't know how to pick it up. I keep shooting. That same raid, there is this, it looks like shipping containers built a little city, and then they put vehicles and tents and stuff in it.
Interesting.
So Andrew and I are in there looting. My buddy Yiffy is on Overwatch, so watching everything coming in and out. And our other buddy, Trudon, he's just running through the woods by himself, killing and grenading people. And me and Andrew are in there, and we use Discord. We keep everybody's video up so we can see where they are at all times. So, if they get lost or we all die, we can walk them out. And Andrew, several times we all died. And so we're all watching Andrew's screen, Andrew, go this way. All right, turn left. All right, follow that rocks. So we're looting, and Trudon goes, Andrew, what is that? And he goes, I don't know. It's got 3 question marks on it.
I need to let you know, this is the first thing that I looted. I tried to pick up the screwdriver and failed, so I was like, whatever. I found the only box that I could open. I was like, oh, check this out. I was like, what is this? It's got 3 question marks.
First raid of the game. Andrew's like, well, I found an item that's got 1 little mark on it, and then I found another item that has 3 check marks on it. And then Trudon's like, well, you just middle mouse button over it and it'll inspect it. So Trudon's watching him, and he's like, why? What is that? And he's like, did you just find a lead X? And I'm like, no, you didn't. So I look over and I'm watching Andrew stream. Andrew found on the flea market, it goes for like 1.5 million.
For
His-
for reference point for the people watching, you start with 50,000 credits.
500,000.
Oh, is it 500,000?
500,000 rubles.
Oh, rubles. Okay, great. But still, that's a lot. Like it starts you out with a lot,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
500,000. I mean, the guns go anywhere between like 22,000 to 35,000. So I mean, and plus you can scav and get stuff for free. But
I mean,
Andrew's
that's
first raid with us ever playing the game finds a lead X, and he's like, "Oh, what is this?" Probably sells for like 1.5 million on the flea market. And me and Yiffy died, and him and Trudon get out without any issues. His first raid, he survives. It's found in raid. If he ever gets level 15 before we quit playing, he could sell it for like 1.5 million. One item, first raid.
Wait, so he actually got out. He escaped and was able to keep his loot. I just lost everything. I didn't find an extraction point every raid because I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't find a way out.
Did not know where they were. I just followed whatever someone told me to do.
Yeah.
Me and Yiffy died in the field, and I said, Andrew, just lay in that bush till Trudon's done running around. Then he'll come get you and then take you where you need to go. And I got up and left, but at that point, they just walked to the extraction and got out. So first raid, he's up like 2 mil.
That's absurd.
Yeah, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, and I can tell you from watching I think it was like a 45-minute video that Josh sent us to kind of get the controls down on kind of what everything, how everything worked. I can tell you that even though you went in blind, I felt like I went in. The only thing I really learned from like that video that I wouldn't have known is, Josh touched on it earlier. There's so many fine tuning in your controls. Like you can just crouch, or you can crouch and use the mouse wheel and you like slowly crouch up or down. So you have different, severities of crouching or leaning. Like you can do the same thing. You lean around a corner, you could like low and slow P, So, and then of course, I didn't know how to pick stuff up, so that was a good time. The second raid that we did right after that, after he showed me how to like sell stuff and everything, as soon as I jump in, it took me a little bit longer to load in than my teammates. And as soon as I load in, maybe half a second to a second later, I get shot like 4 or 5 times. I couldn't even move at the time, but I just hear a guy. I'm like, guys, I'm getting shot. And then I think it was Trudon. He was like, "Oh, my bad." Because as soon as I loaded in, he just looked at me and was like, "This is my target. I'm gonna take him down." And so then I just hear, I think it was Josh. He said, "Well, we're gonna teach him how to heal now, boys." Because I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I don't even have a med kit. Like, and they're like, "Oh, well, you need like a splint and like some ointment and some other stuff." And I'm like, "So I can't even just use a med kit?" They're like, "Oh no, you gotta. Oh, don't forget you're also dehydrating right now." I'm like, I just got here. How am I thirsty? It doesn't make sense. And then I was like, I had to eat some fish or something, and they were like, "Oh, too salty. Now you're thirsty and you're dehydrated." I'm like, this is so much, man. I can barely crouch and pick up weapons. I mean, I still shoot mine trying to pick up a screwdriver. So
real life
I don't
simulator.
know what I'm gonna. Yeah, I think a real life simulator would probably be a little more fun.
Well, I mean, that goes to how hardcore it is, because like if you extract or you die and you go back to your hideout, your character is still at the same hydration and exhaustion as he was when you left. So you have to take care of that. You got to keep him fed. You got to keep him drinking stuff. But we 3 spawned in the game. Andrew's game still hadn't loaded, so he was like a minute and a half behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, everybody just ran off. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll sit here and I'll wait for Andrew. Well, Andrew spawned in, and I thought Andrew was going to spawn near me, but since they all ran off like a quarter away across the map, he spawned in with the rest of the group while I was still over there by myself just waiting for him. So when he teleported in, Trudon turned around and saw that there was someone randomly just standing there out of nowhere and started shooting Andrew. And I'm like, wait, guys, stop. Because I'm looking at Discord, watching them shoot, like look at each other and shoot. I'm like, stop, Trudon, stop. And he's like, what? I'm like, that's Andrew. And he's like, oh, crap. And so we're all hiding in a bush. And I'm like, well, I guess we're going to learn the game mechanics for healing now.
So,
I mean, it's a good
yeah,
lesson.
and that's my second raid. So after that, where they're hiding me in a tree, and they're like, all right, well, this you got to pick this up. This is how you got to continuously try to heal, because it's not gonna, even though you heal all, it's not gonna heal everything. So you gotta keep doing it. And so I'm sitting here just like wrapping up my wounds, trying to not die. And then another team starts approaching. First of all, I don't have a $6,000 headset to be able to tell like these guys do that they're coming from northeast point 235. But as soon as like a freaking twig breaks, they're all just on it, like Blue Bonnet. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, it all sounds like it's just in front. I don't know how you know the precise location they're coming from. And then so, they're like, I get up because, I don't play too many, competitive games, but I know, and I've played enough to know where like you don't just sit there when another group of people's trying to kill you. So I get up, I start running with my like broken leg. They're like, go back to the tree and heal yourself. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I do. And then I'm just laying there trying not to get found. I see a guy who's like on top of this shed in front of me. And I'm trying to be patient. And I'm like, maybe if he jumps down, I'll be able to shoot him when he jumps down. And then mind you, I'm prone. And I didn't know that I have like maybe 3 degrees of turning when I'm prone, no matter where I'm at. So this guy jumps down and I'm just like, boop, and he just goes all the way around and just shoots me. And I'm just laying there looking like an idiot. I'm like, oh, this is grand. It's awesome.
Well, Andrew kept laying there, and he'd aim his gun, and then he'd put it back down. And he's hiding in a bush, but he just keeps going up, going down, going up, going down.
I'll look, I'll aim down sight, see if I can see anyone further off, and then I'll move a little bit, and they're like, stop moving. I'm like, what? Why? I need to find people.
Because it makes noise. So he's laying down, looking at the same spot, and every time he picks his gun up and puts it back down, it makes a sound that other people can hear. So the dudes climbed on the roof, killed True, and then they just jumped off, looked at the bush, saw Andrew just up, down, and then just murdered him, dropped him.
Is there any sort of skill-based or experience-based matchmaking in the game? Does it try to put you with people? Oh my goodness.
That makes sense.
You can play. You can get into a raid and play in the same raid with a level 1 and a level 70.
Nice. I know there's some controversy around skill-based matchmaking, but that's why I prefer it personally.
Well, Arena's coming out. Arena's coming out. It's like
in 4 years.
No, it should be coming out this year or next year.
It'll go back to Charlie. Out of
this year or next year, or maybe next year.
You never know with betas. But that, I think, might be skill-based matchmaking. I haven't heard a whole lot about it. But here it isn't. It sets you up with people, and then you go.
Crazy.
I mean, because if you look at us playing today, Andrew, Trudon's level 25, and you're level 2.
Josh, the guy I killed was like level 15.
Nice.
Yeah, I snuck up. I think he heard me walking around. I was up high up on it was one of the times I was walking up above everybody in factory, because it was factory, and it was like some big old like battery power cell square thing that you could walk around completely. And I had like walked there, and I kind of like walked around to the back of it, and I hear some dude running up, like it sounded like he's running a metal grate, so he's running along the top there, and he like comes to where I was, but he didn't see me down below him, and he jumped down right in front of me and ran down some stairs right in front of me. So I said, all right, and I just went after him, and he didn't even get to turn around, but I actually got the kill. I was surprised, and then someone immediately shot me.
Proud of you.
And I died. I didn't even get to loot.
I was playing Woods today by myself, and I needed scav kills. So there's a spot on the map. It's called Scav House. 3 or 4 of them just will spawn in the field and walk around. So I'm hiding in this tree, and I'm watching, and there's grenades going off over at this cabin across the street. I'm like, I can't see anybody. So I'm looking, and I'm hiding in the tree, and I hear someone like start running through bushes. I'm like, what? So I stand up and I look, and it's the scav running away from me. So I take a couple shots and I have a Mosin. So the Mosin is only 5 shots. And when you load it, he pulls the bolt out and then puts the bullets in through the top and then puts the bolt back in. So I take a couple shots, use 4 shots, and I kill him. And so I'm like, I think there's someone behind me. So I get out and I walk around the rock and I come around the corner and there's a dude crouched just sitting there. And it scared me that I just pulled the gun up and shoot, click. No scoped him, hip fired, headshot, dropped him. His
Nice.
body rolls down the
Beautiful.
hill. He was fully kitted. He had end game gear on his character. And I just hip fired with him with a bolt action with the last round in my gun. If I would have missed, I would have had to sit there and hide and reload while he's looking for me.
You got very lucky there.
I know. I was like, I just dropped him. I was so excited.
So, is the way it works is you could essentially grab all his gear, go hide the rest of the game, and do extraction points only appear at the end, like when the timer's low?
No, extraction points are there as soon as you spawn in the game.
So if you find one, you can leave as soon as you can with whatever loot you
as
have.
soon as you get to it. Yep.
So if you were able to find one, you could have left and just had all that gear.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah,
So,
I just
how
haven't
it is-
experienced that part of the game yet.
Well, you also played a different map. Factory for PMC has 3 or 4 extraction points.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
So there's one where you spawn in, you come into this main room, and there's a couple forklifts. If you look down the hall, we call that glass hallway. If you go down and you come out, you'll come in a room that has like a bunch of big tanks in it. If you walk past that, that's an extraction point.
Oh,
That building you were jumping up in with the offices and that long hallway on the 3rd floor, there's bathroom with lockers in it on the
Mhm.
2nd.
I think the
You
lockers
walk-
are might have been where like the guy jumped down in front of me. Actually, I think I was at lockers.
Yeah. It could have been. That would have been on the 2nd floor of
Okay.
the offices. If you walk straight through that building, go out the other side, and you walk to the wall, there's an extraction there. If you turn immediately to your left and walk to the other side of the factory, there's an extraction there. And then the forklift room, there's stairs that go down. Underneath the stairs is a door. If you have a special key, you can open it, and there's an extraction there.
Gotcha. That's
But-
pretty cool.
Factory is a PvP map. People
Yeah.
go in and just only 6 people can spawn on Factory, and it's a small map, so it's PvP really the
Yeah,
whole time.
it seemed small, so people just go in there to fight each other for fun.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a couple quests on there people have to do. So like if we go in with 5 of us, only 1 person can spawn in, and it's going to be a 5v1 immediately.
Okay, so that seems a little bit unfair in the team. Like, if when you have a team, then they're just going to be looking for the last person. That seems
Yes.
like interesting. Okay.
There's a quest, okay, where you got to go to customs, and there's this, we call it Big Red. It's a gigantic warehouse. It's painted red. At the top, there's offices, and there's a quest item you have to get out of there. You have to extract off of the map customs with that quest item, and then take it into factory. Once you get into factory, you have to plant it, and then I think you have to survive, which means
Interesting.
you have to extract. If you die, you have to go back to customs and get that thing again. So what we do a lot of the time is we will take a 5-man team into factory, guarantees that there's only one other person, like a real player in there. 4 people will go run him down, and then the person plants their quest item and then just leaves.
Interesting.
But
Which
all the
I
other
also-
maps, go
Mhm.
ahead.
I'll say I also find it interesting that there's no indicator of if you go in with a squad who's part of your squad.
Makes it hardcore, realistic. Like you're walking in the
Mm-hmm.
in woods in real life, and you see somebody, you got to know what they look like and what gear they have on, because they're not going to have a name floating above their head.
So that's actually part of the game. Where, like, if
Yeah.
you're playing with a squad, you have to know what each other looks like. What
Yeah.
you're kitted
And that's
out in.
why we play on Discord with everybody streaming their screen.
Yeah.
So like because like when
On a third-party app. Go ahead.
what's wrong with a third party app?
I shouldn't have to have 3 or 4 third-party apps to play one game.
Because you're super tired after the first 2 parties. That's my reason.
True.
I only make it past the first.
Mm.
So, but all the other maps have like 9 to like 12 player spawns.
Whew.
So, but how it is, like if you spawn here, your extraction is going to be at the other side of the map.
Mm.
and vice versa. So technically, think about people spawn here, people spawn here. Everybody has to walk past each other to get to the spawn, their extraction.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So
I want to steer a little bit away from this for now because we don't really have to talk about that game the whole podcast because we're going to be talking about it every week for a while, unless one of us just absolutely hates it. But I don't know if either of you have heard of this game that's coming out. I think it's coming out sometime this year, maybe in a few months. It's called Dark and Darker.
I feel like I've heard of that.
It's essentially the same concept as this game, where you like spawn in, you can have like a group of people, but you like have to get to the extraction point, you'll loot things, blah blah blah. But it's like medieval. There's bows and there's swords, and you're like looting crypts
Yes,
as a group or going in
Yep.
solo. There's like voice chat that is proximity chat, so you can like yell at
They have
people and
that
stuff
in
like that.
Tarkov.
Oh, I can just like yell at people and that'll
You-
have proximity.
you never
Tarkov
did
is
it.
Tarkov has proximity chat.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that makes me
hilarious.
so happy. Proximity chat. I've never played a game that actually had proximity chat, and that makes me really happy because that would be so much fun to mess with people. I love that so much.
Check your settings because you got to find. I've changed the button for what I like.
Yeah.
I like the proximity button on my mouse,
Yeah.
so I don't have to like hit a special key to do it. And then some people turn it on and off. So there's that. But
Gotcha.
yeah,
That's cool.
It's funny.
I would be hilarious. I would love that. So I'm definitely going to look into that. But Dark and Darker is something that I am buying the moment it comes out. I don't know if it's going to be. I assume it's going to be like. I don't actually know what the price is going to be or if it's going to be a free game like a lot of models are going. But regardless, it's everything I've seen about it so far for the people who got early access or whatever. It looks incredible. It looks like. Because really, shooters compared to like medieval stuff is just more up my alley. So I know that if I like this concept of, I don't know why I would keep on calling it Apex, of Tarkov, I know I'm going to love Dark and Darker. And it looks like, just imagine this game, but with like medieval, and you're like, there's crypts where you like go through and try to like kill, there's monsters that aren't enemies, and then there's actual players that are also trying to find the exit. And holy crap, it just sounds like so much fun. Anyway, that's my spiel.
I don't think Dark and Darker is like Tarkov. I think it's more like PUBG.
Well, I don't know much about PUBG, so that might be the case. I don't really know. I don't think it's going to be nearly as hardcore as Tarkov is the thing. But
No, my buddy played it. When the beta was out.
What, Dark and Darker?
It. Yeah.
It looks so cool. August. Wait.
But
no,
I'm seeing
stupid.
a lot of negative stuff about it. Like this video
Really?
on YouTube from a day ago says the dark beta was a lie. Someone said back May 18th, 2023, what happened with Dark and Darker? Dark and Darker was removed from Steam in March following allegations that the team at Iron Mace had taken and reused assets in the RPG that were previously developed as part of a separate project overseen by Nexon.
I whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm not.
But it says the playtest is now live, and that's from April 2023.
There's a live playtest.
Listen, it's in beta, so anything can happen.
Yeah,
Dark and
absolutely.
Darker
I'm not
release
worried
date,
about that.
December 2023.
Yeah, it says Q3. I don't know if they've announced it since, but I'm a Q4, so like it's going to be at the end of 2023. But I don't know. It just sounds like a lot of fun.
Your mother sounds like a lot of fun.
She is. She's pretty cool. I like her. She has Tourette's. The next alpha. Oh, there's going to be another like alpha like playtest for Dark and Darker in June. I guess they've been doing short playtests, so I'll just have to watch out for that.
Wow, they were in and out of beta within 7 years. Now they're moving on to alpha. That's crazy.
That means the game is going to suck.
Don't lie to them. Don't lie to them, Joshua. The game is going to be beautiful.
Never know. There's allegations.
You know what? Allegations are just like alligators. They both got no toothpaste. What?
Both suck.
Yeah.
Alligators.
Alligators
Alligators.
be allergic and alligating.
You got. Yep.
Alligator's got all them teeth and no
No
toothbrush.
toothbrush. Yeah, it's true.
Yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt, yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt.
So yeah, I think overall, like I do understand and relatively enjoy the concept of Escape from Tarkov, but it's for maybe my expectations were too high, but for it being developed for so long, I expected more polish to it, I guess, at least initially. Like I understand that the mechanics are going to be difficult for me. Not only is this a new kind of game type for me, I don't really play kind of very often, but it's also I've never really played FPS with mouse and key, so it's a learning curve for that too. You know,
Oh man.
I can look around. If I were to sync my controller with it, I'd probably do better. But there's far too many keybinds to do that. And you know, just looking around, I got to mess with mouse sensitivity, and you know, got to make sure that I'm not just overshooting anything every time I look at it. It's so that's a learning curve too.
Ooh.
Again, I do like the concept of it, but there's a lot to learn and no way to learn it, basically, outside of just
And-
experimenting.
I want to say, that's rough. You are coming from not just like coming from controller. I mean, you're not just starting a game for the first time and trying to learn the mechanics. You're trying to learn how to learn the mechanics because
Yes,
you're
it's
coming
not a
from a
good thing.
controller to. That is rough. I would almost suggest you like spending some free time playing some other FPS games on PC as well, just getting the general gist of it, the hang of it. Or you can just play this game if you want and like just go into offline and practice moving. Because you just have to I know how dumb that sounds, but like you have to have
moving.
like
I love it.
you're just coming into something and you don't have the muscle memory of playing. I've been playing on computer, like I played the original Deus Ex back in 1999 or something like that.
Mhm.
Back then, like I've been playing even if just off and on, like games on the mouse and keyboard for so long, it just it's like second nature to me. But you've like never really done that. So I can't imagine how
Definitely
that
not.
is.
Yeah, definitely not in like at least a competitive setting.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
believe it was Deus Ex Invisible War that I played.
Nice. Yeah,
And
that's
that, you know, that's first person, but that is against, you know, I could dumb down the difficulty if I needed to, and
yeah.
it's against these blocky NPCs who are just as bad as I am. So
I think it would be real fun just for the heck of it as a side thing, not even necessarily for the podcast because we're doing Tarkov right now. But if the three of us just got into Overwatch and played some Overwatch together, that game is so fun. I don't know if either of you ever
Overwatch
played
is a
it,
good time.
but it
Yeah.
would be super fun because I for me at least, and then you could also get a little bit more experience with FPS. But
Well, if
There-
it's crossplay and it's a game that we're all
Yeah.
playing, if it's crossplay, I will
True.
100% be on my console every time. I'm not even going to try.
it is crossplay. I
Yeah.
think fairly certain.
I don't know.
You
There's
were
a
saying?
game on Steam. I think it's free. It's called like Aim Labs,
Yeah.
where it teaches you to aim and practice shooting different spots quicker and quicker. If you want to look into that to help
It's-
get your mechanics down a little bit.
Aim Labs is surprisingly well made. It even has very specific fine-tuned controller / like PC adjustments for like every popular game that's out there. Like specifically, it will change its settings. Like if I wanted to say play Valorant and I wanted to make my settings in Aim Labs exactly like they are in Valorant, it can do that, which is impressive. I personally don't care to use Aim Labs in any game because I just like to play the game and get good at it that way. But I think for people who like to spend their time practicing specific skills such as shooting and aiming in the game might be good for something like Andrew. Andrew, that creature. But because I think it is free, so if you ever wanted to look into that, that might be actually helpful for you for just even basic
Certainly.
like getting better at aiming on PC.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to the future of all this. It's chill, just hanging out with you guys once a week, talking about what happened, and then getting into the nitty gritty of what happened with our gaming and such. And Tarkov will be fun for a while, and I look forward to seeing what we move on to next. and
Tarkov
everything,
will be
but-
fun for the minimum amount of time. I'm giving it my red thumbs down.
Listen, you
already.
can't do that yet. Give it a little
I
more.
can-
Give it a little
I
bit more
can
time.
change it in a few weeks, but it initially gets this is
Yeah.
a bad game for me.
And listen, that's exactly what we're doing. If all three of us are playing this game, we play it for the 4 weeks. You got at least like 8 hours in, and if you straight up are not having a good time still, we can move on to another game. Maybe one day we can revisit Tarkov one day. Maybe if you get a little bit more accustomed to PC and everything. But yeah, it'll be. I like the setup. Yeah.
I think between the two of you, from the way you talk, you're gonna like it more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially with playing a different map than Factory.
Yeah, I've had zero experience so far in this game.
I have links for 2 different map things that you can use and play.
And where are the Zeldas?
Everywhere.
All right.
But Andrew, I don't know if it's just with this game, but I feel like you came in with an attitude like you're not going to like it already.
Don't do that.
And maybe it's just going through the whole time. So like even the littlest things, you're still like, I knew I wasn't going to like this.
Don't do that.
Listen, as an adult male, I've lived long enough to know when I'm going to enjoy something or not. And I am more than welcome to be wrong about my experience, but I'm not a huge fan of these like large resource management games. I'm not a big fan of games where like I have to make sure I don't get toxic poisoning because I forgot to poop. That's just not my thing. If I wanted realism, I would just go outside. Put it that way. It doesn't have to be too real. I already have to monitor my own urination and defecation, and I don't.
No, I get to do it in the game.
You don't have to do it here.
You gotta do it twice. Oh wait, hold up. Gotta poop in real life, but I have to choose if I need to poop in real life or poop in the game.
Well, the best thing to do is take a poop in the game and then go take a poop in real life, and then you're just doing it both at the same time. You're killing 2 poops with 1 stone. I think that's perfect, personally. But
indeed,
he does not like Scum.
No, but I can play Scum enough to understand and enjoy the mechanics because there are certain like user friendly guides in Scum. If you it's gonna sound weird, if you find the portion of Scum where you can accept missions, there are tutorial missions. It's like, all right, well, this is how the game works. You're gonna want to go find a tree. You're gonna want to chop it down. Then you're gonna create something out of it. And this is how you do all of that. There is none of that in Tarkov because they don't want to be friendly. They want you to die. And everybody who loves this game loves being a masochist. Josh?
Well, here's the thing, though. That's only if you're playing solo player. If you play multiplayer on Scum, there's none of that. It's straight, you got to do all this stuff, but we're not going to tell you how to do it. They don't tell you got to have to create these tools to cut this tree down, but if the tool's not big enough, you can't cut certain trees down. Or if your character's like hunched over and having issues, like you got to, like it'll say your character needs to urinate. Okay, well, how do I make the character urinate? So if you play multiplayer, just like you play multiplayer on Tarkov, there's not really a user-friendly either way.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because I found out those tutorials while I was playing with you on multiplayer.
I found myself using global chat to ask people how to do stuff more and more than I found something to tell me how to do it. Like creating different walls. You create it as like sticks, and then you create it as planks. And then I think you can create it as metal, and then I think you can create it as brick. Well, once you get the sticks to the plank, you can't do the plank to the metal because it doesn't tell you what you need. It doesn't tell you the level you need or the skill that needs to be upgraded. You have to like start asking people like, hey, what do I need to be able to do to upgrade from planks to metal?
Non-trademarked WA.
I feel like between the two games, if I haven't played either in a year and I come back to Scum, I'm still going to be asking people how to do things that I've done before in that game because I don't remember. I don't remember how to craft an axe out of used metal that you find or stuff. But if I don't play Tarkov for a year, none of that's going to be forgotten. I know that I come in, I have to gear up. I know what's going to happen when I go into the raids. I know what to expect. The only thing that's really going to be different is if there's more game modes, different maps, stuff like that.
Or it's I'm not bringing this up to be funny, but it's in beta. Like the mechanics can still change for sure.
Oh yeah.
And like I was saying with Scum, if you go through the menu while you're in the game, once you hit the ground, it's there. It does tell you how to do all that stuff. It actually walks you through it. That's why whenever we were in the base that you and your friends had already built, I was out doing my own thing because I had discovered in the menus that there's a quest line that you can just accept anytime you want, and that's exactly what it is. It's a walkthrough, and that's how I figured out I could make an axe and chop down stuff, and the accessibility is there, which is the point that I'm making about Tarkov. Is that even that accessibility is not there, and you can call me a spoiled gamer or whatever you want, but that's I need help. I'm not a creative
I do
person,
too.
like a not super creative person. So if you throw me in an open world game where I can do absolutely anything, that's one main reason Minecraft has never been my thing. Because
That makes so
you
much
give me
sense.
Legos, I'm gonna build a block.
That makes so much
I'm not
sense.
gonna build this spherical Death Star that shoots lasers. I just can't do that. I don't understand. My brain doesn't help me think that way. But if
My
you give me an objective, I'll figure out a way to get it done.
my wife is the same way. She likes creative mode Minecraft. I got her into that. But actually playing the game and like she just kind of like walks around, doesn't know what to do. She'll like attack a sheep and then feel bad. But like she like doesn't. She's like, what do I do? I'm like, you can do literally anything, break any blocks. But like you pretty much, I would have to like walk her through the steps of actually like progression in the game that is not handed to you in games like that, because they're just meant to be a sandbox you get dropped into, and you basically learn more about the game from watching online stuff than playing it. Really, that's just kind of, I feel like that's how Tarkov is in a way.
Well, it is.
It's almost
Tarkov
like the
is
Minecraft of FPS games, which is weird to
Tarkov is
say.
a community game where
Yeah.
the community gets together, creates resources to help each other, to figure out the quests, to figure
Yeah.
out how to get out of maps. So, I mean, yeah, it's third party, like you keep saying, but just like he said with Minecraft, you learn more by like Redstone stuff on Minecraft has all been
Mhm.
off of YouTube
Hmm.
and stuff. So it's the same thing. You got to use YouTube. You got to look up videos. You got to look up wikis on how to do it. Same thing with Tarkov. But out of all of them, Tarkov is the most hardcore game. Tarkov, I feel, would be a different. If I know your guys aren't going to put the amount of time in there that I have over 2,000 hours. If you
What?
last week I had 2,075 hours, and that was when I first
There
started
aren't
playing.
2,075 hours in a week, Josh.
No, for over the time that I've been playing. So I see it as like it's a hard game.
All right, it's not that insane, because I will say, I'm going to pull this up for the podcast at least real fast. Library Boundless. Let's see if it can see this. I'll just have to take it off of the. That's 1,337 hours. So yeah, it's not that insane, I guess. But I was just surprised to hear over 2,000.
With the hardcore aspect, if they were to put an intro or a tutorial, something like that, knowing what I know now over the years of playing, and a tutorial being placed, I don't know if it would affect the game.
Oh,
Because
absolutely false. It would 100%, because the tutorial doesn't even have to be. The tutorial can be its own sandbox where that's the only thing you're doing, and it shows you these are the basic mechanics. You complete the basic mechanics, or at least enough so that when I go in there, I'm not going to shoot an item to try and pick it up. They can show you all of the normal movement. Sure, 1,000%. If you want to have a high skill ceiling, you don't teach everybody everything. There's no reason that someone needs to learn how to slide cancel in an FPS game
Mhm.
if they're just playing casually. And you shouldn't teach someone that. Let them figure it out. Sure. But
The basics.
if you want a player base to feel like they want to stick around, yeah, throw in a 5 to 10 minute, go to these post markers that we're going to put just in the tutorial.
Make it optional.
Yeah, completely optional. If you do that, you would grow your player base, because you're going to also attract people who don't know how to do this and
I
they
agree.
want to give it a try.
I agree.
I don't know if people. I wouldn't say I would agree that the player base will grow because of a tutorial in this game. but that's also what offline mode is for.
Yeah.
You can go and shoot thousands of rounds of ammo, and then when you leave that offline mode, you didn't use any of
That's
that.
good. That's good. I didn't
Like, you
realize
can
that.
go in the offline mode, you can loot things, you can kill scavs, you can use your medical supplies, you can use 120 rounds of ammo,
Yeah.
and then when you leave, everything that you looted, you don't keep. Every
I-
shot
sorry.
that you used, you don't keep. All the meds that you used, you didn't use them.
Yeah, I
So-
realize I made the game harder on my side. I mean, I wanted it to be hard. I wanted it to be a funny first experience to me by just getting absolutely messed up the whole time. But
You got wrecked.
the game does in big red letters, like big, huge paragraph. It just says, like, play offline mode when you start. Please play offline mode. Learn the maps. Do all that crap. And then you'll actually know what you're doing at least a little bit better. I don't know what part of the menu says that, but it straight up tells you to. I just said... no. So
when you hear streamers talk about the game who have way more hours than I do, they people say, like, what can I do to get better at the game? How
Play
can I
offline
learn
mode.
the game? Every one of them say play offline
Sure.
mode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that for sure.
And that definitely makes sense. You know, that would if I jumped on and that was my intention was to go do offline mode, but you guys were like, "Hey, we're on, like just jump in with us, whatever." Sure. But and I think offline mode definitely is a mainstay and a very valid guide sort of to, get your sea legs under you per se. But the fact that there's still no guidance. So there's still no minimal guidance in offline mode.
Yeah.
So I could go play offline mode, but it's still it might still take somebody who's new to this kind of game hours to figure out how to, to do multiple things at once, or, I can play offline mode once I get a rough idea of what I'm doing. Like, I still don't even, I look at boxes, I'll look at absolutely everything when I'm playing this game, because I still don't even understand, like, these look like boxes that can be looted versus this looks like a background item.
I
that,
wish. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go for it.
Sorry. Yeah. So I wish that offline mode functioned as more of a tutorial.
I think that's what I'm
Only
trying
if
to
you're
say.
in offline mode, it maybe even just gives you an option of, like, displaying tooltips that explain little different parts of the game that pop up or something like that.
I get that, and I don't have a really opinion on it, but the offline mode is like a sandbox.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to use it.
Hardcore mode of the game where there's no penalties against you.
Josh is just like, get good, fools.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
even good. I got shot out of nowhere several times. I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
Just
and that made
read
me feel great, because there was literally one time in those like 4 or 5 raids where I saw a person, and it was the guy that immediately jumped in front of me and killed me. And I'm like,
sounds about right.
there's shots, but I'm getting shot. I watched Josh was giving me an item. He just died. I have no idea where he got shot from. I didn't see a bullet trace or nothing. He just dropped dead.
I want to say we will, on this podcast, one day play Minecraft, and I know that is a horror. A horror.
That's fine.
I will straight up write you a guide for the game. I will write you a walkthrough so that you have an idea what you're doing.
That's third party.
That is third party. That needs to be my catchphrase now.
It might be third party, but at least it's not third party.
Oh,
Got him.
He's got bars.
Got him.
Dang.
I mean, there's also a million of those on the internet, but if you might like a personalized little thing that I'm saying, like, because of my absolute sheer just obsession, maybe not obsession, just pure love of Minecraft.
Obsession.
Shut your mouth, cut that. I will, like, make your transition into that game as easy as possible for you, just so you can actually enjoy it, because I want you to so badly. I love it so much.
Which I will be able to enjoy Minecraft, because
it's also less hardcore.
Yes, it is less hardcore, and there's some semblance of, like, an idea of what to do. Whereas this is just like, there's an extraction somewhere. Go find it.
Go find it.
Don't
Also, loot some boxes, but some can't be looted. And also, Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll like this game more than Andrew will, but I don't know if it'll be like my favorite. Well, time will tell. I have very little experience in it. I would like to shift the conversation of just real quick to.
Let me say one thing.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
And then we can switch. This week, if you do offline mode, okay, Andrew, when there will not be players on offline mode.
Yeah.
The only thing that'll be there are scavs, the computer scavs. You can use that to practice your fighting, your shooting, all those skills. Use offline mode to explore, learn keybinds, and learn your extractions. Bring up on your phone, bring up on your second monitor the maps that I'm going to send you, and then play woods, interchange, or customs, or shoreline. Bring up the map, look at the extractions, and then when you spawn in, hit your O button, see what your extractions are, look for it on the map, and try to figure out where you are on the map. And then practice getting to the extraction. I promise you that's going to be your biggest thing. If you can learn how to figure out where you spawn in at,
Yeah, that'll be helpful.
like if you
Knowing
spawn
the
in
map.
next to a red building, look at the map and be like, okay, the red building, I'm right here.
Yeah.
And then say, okay, well, what are my extractions? Okay, it's over there. And then learn how to get there the safest, quietest way. You don't have to fight at all. As long as you're quiet and methodical, you hide, you don't make a lot of noise. Anything you do makes noise. Turning your lasers and flashlights on and off makes noise that people can hear. Zooming in on your scope and zooming out on your scope makes noise that people can hear.
I didn't know that even made a noise.
Yeah.
You can hear this from 500 meters away.
It's a clicking noise. Changing the color of your reticle makes a noise. Aiming your gun, moving, all makes noise. If you hold middle mouse button in, your body will stay like this, but you can go like that, and that won't make noise.
Good to
Learn
know.
how to move around.
I'm glad you can't hear my
quiet.
neck moves.
Just learn to move around quiet, and the PvP, PvE won't be a big deal. And then you can just learn to get your extraction, loot along the way, and then just get out.
Gotcha.
And then PvP
Good to know.
will come.
So, and I'll ask one last question before we pivot again. What is the point of why am I being rewarded, or what is my reward, I should say, for extracting with all this gear? Is there a greater goal? Is it just keep looting, and is the gameplay loop like loot, get better stuff, try it again?
The greater goal is to level up your character, get items to turn into the traders for quests, and max out your hideout. And while you're doing that,
the hideout. That was a good point.
It's a tab at the bottom left. It says main menu, and then to the right of it, it says hideout.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Because you can build stuff in the hideout. You can make armor. You can make bullets. You can make medical supplies. You can make food. So all that, and then you want to find stuff to sell it so you can fund better gear for your player, better weapons, better armor. So all the looting you do is for your hideout, for the traders, or to make money to buy better stuff for you to use so you're stronger going in the next time.
Okay, and I think that's a good point too. Because I'd said it previously, I am a kind of person who likes objectives in games. Give me a goal to try and complete, even if it's like super long term. If I didn't have that, I feel really lost, and I feel absolutely useless.
So there's at least a goal there for you.
So then for you, let's say your goal is to maximize in this next 4 weeks or more, but it'll probably be the next 4 weeks, the amount of money you have and how built up your hideout is, how complete your hideout is. So let's make that your goal. Because if you do it with that, you're going to play safer because you're going to be like, you're going to look at the hideout and be like, you need 6 bolts. And
Yeah.
when you loot, you're going to find 6 bullets. You're like, okay, I need this. I need to get out. So you're going to play quiet. You're not going to move too much, and your goal is going to be to get out wherever you can. So make that your goal.
Sure.
Another thing, so we and make sure we talk on this. Interchange, Woods, and Customs are the main maps that you guys being new should be playing. All 3 of those have what we call a vehicle extraction.
Oh.
Interchange, it's not always there. Customs, it's not always there. Woods, it's there every single time. You have to have money on your character. So that little case, Nathan, I don't know if you know that little yellow case at the very bottom of your character, they call it the pouch. It should be like an alpha container.
Yeah, it's like the
Whatever
500,000 you have, right? Or
no, on your character,
in the game. Oh.
Yeah. On your character, when you're putting the weapons and stuff, that yellow little container,
Mm-hmm.
anything you put in there, when you die, you do not lose it.
I've noticed I had a food and a water in there, and I have not eaten a food or a water yet.
Your container is smaller than mine, but if you're going to use these vehicle extracts, you should put in like 7,000 rubles.
I didn't know you could put money like in pouches or whatever.
Yeah, you can't put like more than 200,000, I think.
Okay.
But when you go up to the car extraction, it'll say pay to leave. You got to pay the car, and then the extraction timer is 60 seconds.
Gotcha.
But you have to have the money, and you have to have like a few dollars more, a few rubles more than what the extraction costs. So just make that your goal, Andrew, to loot, to level up your hideout, and to make a decent bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
And everything else will flow as you go through.
Yeah, I'll start with a fistful of rubles and hope for just a few rubles more.
Let me give him paper cuts and smack him with his cash.
Absolutely. All right, so I would like to say we're going to kind of get a little bit more accustomed over time to each other's tastes in games. It's very obvious that specifically super hardcore stuff doesn't seem to be totally Andrew's thing, but it's also probably because he's having a rough time with like PC stuff and like the movements and stuff, which is going to come with time as well. But also just games that do not seem to give you much of an objective. Although learning that he has some goals here is probably going to be a little bit helpful for his enjoyment of the game. Because it's not only just, run in, raid, grab stuff, don't die, extract, come back out, do it all again. There's actually more of a greater purpose to it. But we should be a little bit conscientious in the future, since none of us are like made of money, of like, and I know that we just wanted to start with this one because it was kind of your thing from the beginning, Josh, the podcast. We know how much you love this game, so we were giving this a shot. But we'll be a little bit conscientious. I can't say that word right now. So, mindful of the games that we pick in the future, if we are spending money on them, how much it is compared to how much we think somebody will hate it in this group. So,
yeah, well, that's
for
what I was
sure.
saying on episode 0.
Yeah,
I knew at least Andrew wasn't going to like it, and then I wrote down the prices of all the games that we suggested.
Yeah. Some of them are going to be free.
Sure. Yeah. And I know, I like how we talked about that a little bit in the first one and before we even started the podcast. I think Josh brought the point up initially. He just said, well, yeah, we should, we want to try to pick games where we think we're at least the other people are going to like first. Yeah. And then Josh just dives into the most niche possible thing there is on the internet. He's like, Escape from Tarkov. You're going to love it or hate it. And you're either going to live or have assisted suicide. Which one?
My games are first-person shooters. I like Tarkov. I like some of the simulators like Farming Sim and Truck Sim, stuff like that. I like Scum. I like Arma.
Don't make us play Truck Sim.
Oh.
I am looking so forward to Farming Simulator.
Don't make us play Truck Sim.
But Andrew's games are like those weird little campaign games, like that one where the Asian dude's running around that town.
Oh, Yakuza, of course. That is literally the epitome of weird single-player games. I love it.
That, Persona, games like that. Nathan, your games are like these...
Mine are all over the place.
They're like but you play more like these survival games, like Ark, Minecraft.
Never played Ark.
Valheim.
Yeah.
You never played Ark?
I don't even know what that is. Ark Survival, it's like a dinosaur game or something?
I don't know.
What would be awesome, and I don't know how it would ever be possible?
My mom didn't have Tourette's anymore.
Oh my gosh, I would be so happy if my mom no longer had Tourette's.
That's rough.
Andrew, what are you
I
thinking?
love my mom even though she has Tourette's.
Yeah, I get it. I actually had a point, but that actually serves well for the outro. But if somehow one day we were all like making money from this, we were like a popular podcast and people were watching, and we were just like, this was partially what we were doing for a job, which, like, listen, man, I just wish we could all record in a room together. You know how amazing that would be. Maybe we'll do a special episode once in a while, like if I come up to Pennsylvania and Josh will visit or something, and we'll like set up a recording, or that would be the coolest thing.
Yeah.
So one idea. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't really have. Josh, were you or Andrew?
No, I was saying, yeah, I would do that. I love it.
Yeah, I'd be down.
You were saying something?
I was just saying something that I've done that's kind of a fun little thing you could even end the video on if you wanted to. So Josh might be familiar with it. I don't know if you are, because I know you're not so much into sports. But there's something called a fantasy draft, which basically is just, everybody takes turns, each team per se, or each individual in our case. We would take turns and we'd have the ability to choose, whoever we want in order to better our team. So in what Josh Zazada and I have been doing for a while is we take an idea or a thing or a place and we, quote, draft it. So for example, we could do like 2 rounds and we'd each go back and forth and we'd all pick and see who, it's just something fun to do, but it doesn't have to be sports related. So for example, I could say, okay, so I'm holding a pen. I could say a fantasy draft, we each get 2 picks and we choose the order and we pick what we think the best brand of pen is. I could go and I'd say, you know what, if you don't get the new released Sharpie pen, you're an animal. That's my first round draft pick. And then we could go next. And Nathan might say, you know what, you're an idiot for not picking Uniball. First round draft pick is Uniball pen. And it's anything though. It's just basically us picking what we objectively like the best, and we just kind of judge each other based on what we pick.
I like the idea of arguing about it too, and like giving your reasons. Like, it's real intense. That's pretty funny.
All right, so we're here at the end of the My Mother Has Tourette's podcast. This week we're going to be doing a fantasy draft. We'll do snake style. So Nathan's going to pick first. Josh will be second. I will be last. At the second round, we'll do reverse order. I will be first. Josh will be second. Nathan will be last. And in order to start, our topic for this week is going to be French fries. So, Nathan, why don't you kick us off with what do you think one of the best French fries you have access to is?
If you have never had, or even worse, if you've had it, Steak and Shake French fries, and you do not think they're the best French fries that have ever existed, I don't think we can be friends. I mean, that's just my own personal opinion.
Right,
like, I don't know if I can be.
I'll see you guys later.
Listen. This is a hill I will die on. Steak and Shake has better fries than a good singer has a good voice. I don't know any singers.
We aren't friends anymore.
They are good. I will admit they are delicious, but I don't think they're that powerful. But hey, that's your opinion.
I wouldn't even put Steak and Shake on the top 10.
Bars. So what's your number 1 pick, Josh? You have second round pick in the round.
Well, since he's gone, I'm going to have to say that my number 1 pick, wait for him to come back so he can be astonished by what I'm about to say. This year's number 1 French fry pick goes to Burger King French fries.
Oh my gosh, what kind of a fool are you? Those are mid-tier at best.
No, they're pretty good.
They are doable fries. I would give them a B overall. They used to be better. Oh, for sure. They used to be better. I liked their older fries, and then they changed them, and they're just like, I can taste the frozenness, even though this is hot, fresh, and ready.
Josh, I think you're an idiot.
Oh man. So my first pick, which somehow I don't know how this happens and it goes undrafted within the first round.
This is gonna be terrible.
The only thing keeping Arby's in business is their curly fries, my guy. Arby's curly fries are pristine. They're seasoned well.
They're second rate.
Hit me with your blasphemy again, and I will drive to where you're at and smack you in the face.
I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be arguing against each other in this, but I can't actually argue with Andrew. That he's very
Thank you.
accurate, but I still think
If
steak
someone
and
has
chicken is
valid
better.
point, that's okay. You're allowed.
Arby's
So, what about it?
is
I heard they
They've
have
got
the
the-
meats.
in the
Oh, yeah,
curly fry arena. They're number one, but on fries general, on fries
They're-
general,
They are up there. They are amongst the elite, no doubt about it.
I will
Rallies
say
was better seasoned.
Don't say
Rallies.
anything now because we still got to continue this draft. So I could gladly take your pick, and you'd be out of luck.
I will say when fries get curly, they become their own entity.
Expand.
There's
Yeah,
fries and there's curly fries. We can exist on a parallel plane of existence of goodness.
So
No, we
you're
can't.
saying because the shape of a fry differs, what we can choose from?
Yeah, that's like Bob the tomato and Larry the cucumber. There's no difference.
No, because if
No.
I said pick a best vegetable, you could still pick either.
That's
no,
a
you
lie.
can't because tomatoes are fruits.
You're right. You're right. Absolutely. There you go.
All right,
All right,
what's
so
next?
What's your number two?
So my number 2 pick. So Arby's would be my number 1. Let's see. So I will go with a bit of an unnatural. Definitely may not be some people's favorite. But I love, especially if you season it with that seasoning just a little bit. Red Robin's steak fries are kind of delicious. You know,
Number
get a little
three.
bit of their seasoning on
I
there.
don't remember.
Yeah.
They're good. Steak fries in general are pretty top tier in my opinion,
Mhm.
but you know, they fry them perfectly. You could get garlic parm ones that are just sublime.
Never
But
had
you know,
those.
just a little bit of the seasoning on it, it's perfect to me. Just a good all-around fry. You don't need a condiment for it, which I think is a great addition to how a fry operates. If I don't need condiments, that's a better fry.
Yeah, but not Arby's, Red Robin's campfire sauce with their steak fries is pretty bomb.
Fair. I'm more of a fan. I like to mix their ranch and buzz sauce. Turns so good. But yeah, what's your second round pick there, Josh?
My number two was Chick-fil-A's waffle fries.
Okay. I like their fries. I just feel like they never put salt on them.
They
If
don't,
they were to do that, they'd be top tier, I think.
and the fries with the potato skin backing, like the ones that aren't
Oh, yeah.
fully waffles, they taste different than the wholly ones. But
Good choice of words for Chick-fil-A. The Lord's chicken and fries.
waffle fries go into the same department that Nathan said about what curly fries become as they change shape. They become
Well,
their
Nathan
own
didn't make
entity.
the fantasy draft. I did, and I say all fries are equal here. We don't say one's better than the other. We're just saying fries are delish. Which ones are the best?
In
All
the
right, Nathan,
same
Let's hear this.
in the same vein of talking about fries that are a little bit different, a little bit off the wall, a little bit breaking the mold of what the fry really is. If you really, you just got those normal potato fries. You either got steak or you got like little skinny ones like Steak and Shake, and they're pretty normal. Then we got the curly fries, we got the waffle fries, kind of changing things up a bit.
Don't do it, dog. Don't do it.
I feel like we're not like.
And then we have Taco Bell's nacho fries.
Okay.
And Taco
now
Bell's
it's
nacho
okay.
fries
All right.
are on
Yeah.
another plane of existence. If you
Very
don't
pathetic.
like Taco Bell nacho fries, if you don't think they're the best fry in the world, I don't think we can be friends. I'm just saying. But
And to your point, that is a great definition of a fry because one, as we kind of stated, a fry without any condiment makes it a better fry. I can gladly eat those without the nacho cheese.
I tell
Now,
them
the
not to
nacho
give me the cheese.
elevates- Yeah, the nacho cheese elevates it, in my opinion. But they season it well to the point where it's stuck on my fingers, and I have like a pseudo finger addiction, and I'm just, I love it.
Yep.
Good choice. Yeah. Well, we'll have to do a different topic next week, so we'll think on it and come back with another fantasy draft idea.
All right. So, who do you do? Should we normally do like the person doing the intro does the outro, that kind of thing? I kind of did the outro last year, but like last week. But yeah, we've been doing this a long.
It's been a wild ride.
It's already been a whole year.
Well, that was another interesting episode of My Mom Has Tourette's podcast. So I don't have anything to add. Nathan, any closing thoughts?
I'd like to share a secret with each and every one of you. I've been holding on to this for quite some time. My mom has Tourette's.
Isn't it a crazy thing that all three of our moms have Tourette's?
No, only one of our moms has Tourette's. Or maybe none of them. You never know. Maybe we're all a bunch of filthy liars. Or maybe two of us are filthy liars. Who knows?
It's only one. My mom has it. She does. But I wanted to thank you guys if you made it this far. I appreciate you staying and watching, supporting us as we start this new adventure. 3 crazy dudes arguing about French fries and video games.
And mushrooms.
So, if you
I
can
knew
remember,
that was going to make another appearance. I was waiting for it.
it's just going to get added throughout all the videos.
Right. All right.
Remember
Well,
to hit that like and share button and help us keep going.
Or don't,
like,
because we're not your
subscribe,
father.
Comment, noti bell, bro. You got to get all 4 of them down. Like, subscribe, comment, noti bell. Get notifications for everyone.
We need to be part of that YouTube algorithm. Make sure you do all of it.
All of it. The algorithm rules us all.
Or maybe don't do any of that because we're not your fathers, nor are we your mothers with Tourette's. So,
My father's not my life.
If I work at a sperm bank, I could be everybody's father. You don't know. Think on that.
So this is Andrew signing off.
This is Nathan, and I don't know what I'm signing off of, but yeah, that's what I'm doing the same thing.
This is Josh, and I love you guys.
All right. And once again, I am Andrew. This is the My Mom Has Tourette's podcast, also apparently known as the 3 Dudes in a Mushroom. Thank you all for joining us, and have a good night.
Deuces. Yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt. Yeet, yeet, skirt, skirt.